I don't think it got that much attention because there's not, wasn't the internet or anything when you and I were kids.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, that's
No, it makes sense.
you know, but it's definitely an issue now. That is 100%. Jerry White, we're live,
Wonder
buddy.
what. Oh,
We are live.
morning, family.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, I be slipping, man. I just be slipping.
It's everybody's still sick, man. There's a lot of sickness. People are like dropping like flies.
This weather, let's be fair, this weather is trying to get folks.
Yeah.
We were in
it didn't get y'all,
shorts.
didn't
What was that?
it? It got you guys, didn't it, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, man. It's just the whatever this is. We were in, shorts and t-shirts, then the next day it was snowing.
That's a fact.
What in the world? I loved it though, by the way. I was out in it. Wasn't feeling my best, but I was out doing ministry work. If you're gonna do ministry work, might as well do it in the snow.
Hey, that'd be a good thing to do it in, especially as much as
you know what, Jeff? I'm just a humble servant.
You're just a humble servant moving boxes. Don't even worry about that. Moving boxes and produce. Oh,
Deanna! What I said, Deanna. When I got the call from your mama, you got to tell me twice. Hey,
it's like help,
times.
mommy. Yeah. Oh man. So what you got on your
mind? How's Eleanor? How's Eleanor?
She's still sick, but she's working.
She's still struggling, man.
Yeah, man. She's working.
Oh man. I blame her and her job for bringing all the nefarious viruses and whatnot to church.
Yeah, I would concur.
To you and I, because she's surrounded by all them little bad runny nosed kids.
I would concur on that. I
was saying.
But no, she's loaded with pleurisy, so they gave her 2 steroid shots, put her on oral steroids. And she's struggling, man, but she just she's a warrior,
I tried to buy that. I tried to buy some pleurisy. I was on Amazon, and they were out.
Yeah, listen,
they were out, man.
That stuff's for free, and it costs you a lot. That's rough,
man. It is breathing treatments and so forth.
If it gets worse,
does that help with that?
Oh yeah, it'll break it up, man. Of course, that's like inflammation, really. It's inflammation in the lungs and all that jazz. So it just causes a lot of discomfort.
Nice. Hey, we're live and broadcast there. That's good.
We are ready to go, buddy. So what's on your brain? Huh? I got you. We can hear you.
Okay. Good. I was just making sure it was all. And I didn't realize that I had to, if I muted my keyboard, I muted that mute button was for everything.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Now I know.
Well, don't do that. I got 2 mute buttons over here, and I got to keep my hands close to it just to make sure you're saying that.
Well, that's fair.
If we do another home Bible study, I may have to put us on a 5-second delay.
Wow. That's the greatest Bible study in the history of mankind.
Oh, man, it was fun. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, it wasn't Sermon on the Mount good, but it was good.
Man.
It was entertaining for sure.
Yeah. And it almost ended up in a... Whew. Anyway.
It's so funny. I'm so thankful for that barking dog.
Cotton be barking right on time,
just perfectly.
Just perfectly.
I mean, we lost a viewer already.
We did. Who'd we lose?
I don't know. I just see numbers.
Uh-oh.
Where's Andrew Ford?
Oh.
Somebody let Andrew know we're doing a show.
Bless him.
I'll text him. He was having a bad day yesterday. It was funny.
It was bad on him? What's wrong with him?
I don't know. Remember, I read you his text that said,
"Oh yeah.
You better be having a show." Expletive.
Roof. The dog.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah, well, today's gonna be we're gonna start out anyway, a little bit heavy, huh?
I guess so, man. This is
well, it's just on me, and I'm not into, again, with all your years of doing counseling, and I mean, you're more equipped to handle this conversation, but I don't mind asking questions and throwing some statements out there, but hey, today we're talking something bigger than sports. But let's not think that it doesn't affect every locker room or classroom or every home, because it certainly does. And I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about more, Jeff. I'm just going to put it
Not
on
me.
you. Teen mental health is a huge issue in America right now. And my feelings on stats, Jeff. I think most of them are made up, but I dug in anyway because I wasn't sure. And this one site I was perusing this morning, it says right now 4 out of every 10 high school students feel persistently sad and hopeless. And that word persistently sad or persistently hopeless. Let's think about that. Look at any team, look at any classroom for that matter, or that's almost half are carrying something heavy according to these statistics.
Right.
It also goes on to say 1 in every 5 have seriously considered harming themselves. Of those 1 in 5, also 1 in 5 have a plan in place to do so. And nearly 1 in 10 have actually attempted to hurt themselves. But when I talk about statistics, man, I don't like that word in this context because it's not a statistic. We're talking about somebody's teammate.
Right.
We're talking about somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's best friend. We're talking about, if we're talking about high school students, and that's what I really want to focus on, that teen high school students, we're talking about someone's hero, an elementary school's hero, especially athletes or people that set apart in the school for achieving this award or that award. You've got these young elementary school kids looking up to these other kids. And those big kids are carrying something persistently, sadness, hopefulness. So when I use the word statistic, I don't want it to be a statistic, Jeff. I want us to focus and talk about the actual people, the actual kids, and these young people in particular, because your wife being a principal and an educator for the group that looks up to these other students. And I love the fact that one thing that the Etowah high school does, or the Tallahassee school system, is they let the kids put their jerseys on and walk the hallways and do these different things and go up and down the hallways during graduation and do those things. So yeah, they have a lot of eyes on them. There's a lot of these young kids who look at these kids as their heroes. That's my athlete, right? This is a Deion Sanders. This is a Michael Jordan I can actually touch in their eyes. But what makes it tougher, man, that these are millions of kids struggling. And a large percentage of them have no concept of that they even need help, or that there's even people out there to help. Right. We always hear anxiety rates, right? Depression rates, pressure. And we were talking this morning, you and I did not have social media. So we didn't have those kind of unrealistic expectations or comparisons, or we didn't have the online bullying stuff. A bully in mine in your day, hey, we're just going to square up in the hallway and let's just take care of the bullying right now.
Yeah.
But there's a huge part we just can't miss, is that there is people out there to help. There's teachers and there's parents, and there's pastors and youth pastors and those kind of things. But the research, and I did very little research, I'm talking 10, 15 minutes before the show, just trying to get some talking points. It comes from being connected. So, when kids feel connected to a parent, a teacher, a teammate, they do better. They feel safer. They're stronger together. But one thing I keep seeing coming up is they feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A lot of people don't feel seen. And man, if you're a coach, how about check on your players? If you're a parent, have the tough conversations. if you're a teammate, be the one that notices the people that are struggling. Because sometimes the strongest looking kid in the room may be carrying the toughest battle that no one sees. And I'm not an expert on this, but I just thought with our platform, man, and all the people we're connected with in the teaching field, political field, coaching ranks, that this would be a good conversation to have. And we got a lot of kids that watch this too. If you're struggling, talk to somebody. You're not alone. There are tons of people who care about you. There is help. And are you familiar with the you can text the 988? I know we went through all the mental health training, Jeff. So
yeah, I can't remember
you can talk.
It is, but yeah, it is. They have that. It's
pound 988. You can
right.
actually text. But anyway, I just thought I would, I know we spend a lot of time talking about champions on this show, but I thought this is a great opportunity that we can talk about saving lives a little bit.
I think the real champions are the people that fight through this battle that nobody sees. That's the problem.
Sure.
You can fight when you can see your opponent. You can square up when you see the thing that's coming in front of you or even behind you. You have a real opponent. That's something that's visual. But when it comes to mental health, man, it's not. It is something that is unseen, and especially with students, they don't know who to talk to anymore because of the problems. And I don't want to sound like an old gouger here, but I mean it is because of the social media aspect of it. That is a huge reason that it's more prevalent. It's a huge reason we know more about it and know how to affect people. But it's something you can't see coming, and I've dealt with it for many years, and I still deal with it. But the problem is, nobody's willing to, not many people in this platform type is willing to talk about it. We want to cover it up with a laugh. We want to cover it up because laughter does do good like medicine. But the problem is they don't know who to trust anymore. You've had teachers, pastors, coaches,
sure,
especially, and mentors, parents, that have betrayed a whole host of these people, and they're scared to death. And they don't know who to trust to talk to, but someone else that doesn't even have the mental capacity to hold on to it or even to help it. But they're dealing with things like anxiety. They're anxious all the time because they don't want to be in front of this group that makes fun of them or looks down on them. What if they're talking about me? What if they're saying these things? And it's easy for somebody like you and I to go, well, you don't worry about what people say. Well, that's not that generation.
Sure.
They worry about what everybody says. And here's another issue. They're worried about who they are. They don't even, because they're so confused. And this battle of the mind has got them confused, and they have no idea what their identity is because we're scared to teach them and bring that out of them, that men should be men and boys should be men and girls should be ladies. And they're just confused, man. And they might not even struggle with that kind of stuff, but I just want them to know, any of them, even if they're not teenagers, they're adults like you and I. Find somebody to confide in and talk to, because that's one of the biggest issues, is trying to fight that battle on your own, and you will lose 100% of the time unless you involve someone else, and especially involve the Lord. You got to bring God on, and we've seen in the Bible, and you can go into this in more detail, but David struggled with it. I mean, Jeremiah struggled with it. There are people, a whole host of people in the Bible that have struggled with depression and anxiety and all of those different things. Elijah, he wanted to give up. He wanted to quit. So, I mean, if we look at it from a biblical perspective, but what contributes to, do you think, other than social media, to this issue? Because if you want to find a cure to something or help, you got to go back and find out why this thing exists.
Sure. And hey, thank you guys for jumping on and commenting. We got some great, hey, Andrew Ford makes a great point here, Jeff. He says, this is the exact reason why my kids won't have social media until they start driving at 16.
Yeah. Smart.
Shelby McNutt, confusion and identity.
Yeah.
And my phone's going off. And Deanna, love you, Deanna. She says, get with godly people.
Yeah.
And these are, hey, thank you guys. And we don't have the answers here.
Well, I think the Apostle Paul had the answer. I mean, he had it. In Romans
Sure.
12:2, he says, renew your mind. And the only way that you can renew a mind is through a relationship with the Lord, and have His word transcribed, engrafted on your mind, because that's what changes it. But how do you change the way a person thinks? Because the way a person thinks, that's who they are. But according to the Lord, we can renew our mind with His word daily. Prayer, find you some godly
Right.
friends, like Deanna said. But the first step is reach out. I want people to know. We've dealt with it daily. You're dealing with it with somebody now. I know them somewhat, but I've also talked a gun out of a kid's hands. I've also walked in to tell a kid that his sister had killed himself. I also walked in on right after someone else had taken their own life. I mean, we have dealt with it on and on and on throughout our lives, and it's scary, especially when you get to the place. It's embarrassing, especially it's got to be for a teenager or even a grown man that feels like we ought to have it all together, to look at somebody and be vulnerable and go, hey, man, I really am thinking about killing myself or offing myself. I don't want to get us banned, but, deleting myself. And, man, that's a hard conversation to have. And it's
It is.
scary to admit to that. So go ahead. I'm sorry. That's good comments.
No, don't. No, man. Yeah, I'm loving. That's kind of what I'm into. And Miss Shelby says, "Take every thought captive." And it's funny. She made a post this morning, exactly about not what we're talking about, but about taking every thought captive, which is right on time. Johnny Cook: schools and communities need support groups within to help discuss and communicate with kids, fellow students with their issues. We lose way too many lives due to depression and feeling left out of society. And Johnny, thank you for that comment. Jeff, you did work with, or many conversations with, Judge Hassel, and when you were doing stuff with the city of Rainbow City. There are plenty of resources out there, right? But I think maybe people don't know that they have these opportunities to go get help or use these opportunities that are out there. Maybe we don't do a good enough job of letting people know it's okay to call this number, and
Right.
and it's going to be private, and they're not going to make fun of you, or they're going to not make you feel bad about yourself. So there are plenty of things out there, right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you had mentioned one of them, and say that number again. It's what, pound what?
It's pound 988.
You can call pound 988, and they may even connect you with somebody that's a part of the faith that you have, or if you don't have a faith. The point is saving your life and talking you through this stuff and talking you down off of the cliff. But yes, they do have the resources. Used to be you could pick up a phone book, and now you can look on social and contact any church. You should be able to contact any church, regardless. I know the Catholic Center for Concern points people many, many different great ways. And so there's all these different things. EBA, Etowah Baptist Association. But you should be able to contact any Christian church and just say, hey, look, I don't know you, you don't know me, and I'm struggling. Those people should be, they're not all trained, but they should be qualified enough to be able to help you or get you into the path of someone. But here's where you really need to go, especially if you're a student. If you don't have a church and you don't have anybody you can trust, go to your school administrators. They're there to help you. Your school guidance counselor. That's what they're paid for. And if you don't get it from one, that attention you need, go to the other one. If you don't get it there, find you a teacher. Those are people you should be able to trust. And you and I have been fortunate in all of our life to be able to walk to any teacher that we've ever had and say anything we wanted to and ask them for help. And that should be the relationship these students have with their teachers. If they do not, find them another class to get into, because most of these teachers, I promise you, are going to do everything they can to help your kid.
Well, let's be real. I'm gonna say 95. Don't mean to interrupt, Jeff. I'm gonna say that 95% of teachers are in it for the right reason, and it's not the pay. Right? We don't pay these teachers near enough. And that pound 988, you can also text, so you don't feel comfortable having a conversation. So
to be anonymous there, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I think Gadsden State locally, because it is a college, I think they have things that they can deal with for sure, right?
Yes, they do. Matter of fact, if you don't know where to go, you just go right there to the student center. I can't remember the name. It's called the Hub, I think it's called the Hub or something like that. You just walk right in there to that main kiosk, and that person will point you to exactly who you need to be talking to. Guarantee you. And if not that, find law enforcement. Somebody,
Sure.
a fireman. Find somebody that
Yeah.
is a civic leader, and if
Hey,
you don't know
how
who to
much
talk to, go ahead.
training? Sorry, Jeff. How much training does I'm gonna use your son Brandon because that's the closest police officer that we have, right?
Yeah.
Um, how much training? Because he's new, he's excelling, he's doing great. How
Yeah.
much mental health training do officers actually get?
They do get quite a bit, and it is offered to them. I know through his department, and I know Rainbow City does well on that as well. Um,
Mhm.
they're very well equipped to do that. But the great thing about it is most municipalities have somebody that's designated within the municipality to deal with mental health. That and
Yeah,
it and most cities have that. And if they don't, they should get that and should at least make it available. Have you a pastor on call or some mental health coordinator on call somewhere. But yeah, most officers do. He did get some of that in the academy, learning how to talk to people that are in the worst time of their life. Because most of the time, unfortunately, when you meet a police officer, it's during the worst day of your life, and something has happened.
Jeff, this is a
Go ahead.
this is a comment right here, man, and I appreciate Jonathan. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. He said a lot of veterans have the mindset of if they ask for help, they're weak, soft, or crazy.
That's correct. That's
And so
correct.
there's a stigma on asking for help that we have to do a better job of indoctrinating into our young people that, hey, if you ask for help, that means you're strong.
Right.
That means you understand the situation, better than you think. It's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak.
No, it doesn't. And let's move it to the other end. Though you and I are dealing with a veteran that in our life that we help quite often that deals with these issues, that deals with mental health issues. And I don't look at him as weak at all. I look at him as strong for fighting that battle. And thank God that
Sure.
he's done that with and trusted you and I and some other people in our lives. But on the other end of it, it's not just you guys that struggle with it or someone struggles with it. What about us on the other end that should be the ones that should help these people? Well, what do we do when they come to us? Do we think I can't give people advice? Most of the time, when somebody comes to you help mental health wise, they're not wanting you to give them advice. They're just wanting you to be there and listen. And
Right.
then God is giving you common sense after you listen and if you think for a moment you can help, dive in and help. If you can, all you can offer is be there and then help them find somebody, do that as well. But always be there. Pay more attention to people. Don't just blow people off. Um, I watch it every time I go into public. I'm a people watcher, and so I watch these people. We were at an event the other night, and thank God I knew a few people to be able to talk to. But I watched how these grown adults would interact or treat somebody they didn't know. You watch them from afar off and watch how they snub their nose, or when somebody walks by, they'll start talking up. It's obvious. No wonder
Hmm.
we live in such a society that is so judgmental in every facet of life. And I know people.
Right.
Look. I hate a soft community. I hate people that are soft. I hate them. I can't stand them the way they act. Um, so I understand that, but mental health is real, and when somebody is ignored, that you could be the very last person that they tried to approach before they said, "Look, if I can find one friend, I'll stay around."
Right.
And you're the last
Uh,
one that blows them off. Think about that.
Man, some more comments here. Jonathan says, thankfully, the VA has a lot of resources, and Shelby commented that they have a veterans program at Gadsden State Community College that stands ready to help. If you know of anyone, please point that direction. So there are some resources, and not taking anything away from the veteran side of it, Jeff. I really want to focus on. Hey, good morning, Ray Freeman. I really want to focus on the teens
Yes.
and so many times, what is it? You're just having a bad day. Go to your room. Go clean your room. Take the trash out. Yeah, I don't have time to deal with. But these are real issues to them. whatever, whatever they perceive, their anxiety, their struggles. Um, I remember, my mother when I'm young, and you know how she is, man, a lot like your mother. She'd be saying some stuff.
Sure.
You don't know what stress is. How many bills you
Right.
got to pay?
Right.
Clean your room, cut the grass.
Yeah.
That's real stress, right?
Yeah.
But hey, my stress back then to me was real to me. My anxiety was real to me. And the same thing for these kids. And we can look at it as, hey, well, why are you so upset because your boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you?
Right.
Why are you so upset because you don't have that brand new pair of Jordans, or
Right.
you're not playing, you're not playing golf with the newest clubs, or your car didn't have that amazing sound system? To
Yeah.
these kids, man, it's real. And I think Andrew Ford, and we call him a lot because he's just one of us, man. He's a good dude and a great parent and husband. He does a great job of being sure that his kids are not involved in social media.
Right. Yeah.
You and I have taken breaks from social media.
That's
It's
right.
tough since that's how we make our living. So that doesn't go very well.
Sure.
But sometimes it's okay to unplug and get away. And the reality is, you put on social media what you want people to see, and it's most of the time it's fake. But these kids are trying to hold up to this certain expectation. And if you're talking about athletes, hey, I want to compare myself to this 4-star athlete that has this great life, going to these camps. Everybody wants to be a part of their lives. They just want to talk to them. And if looking back, when we played ball, the star athlete was just another dude, right? We there was no difference in a 5-star athlete that I played with, or a kid that never played a meaningful snap in a varsity game.
Right.
It's no different. But now these kids think, I have to do this, I have to show this clip or this highlight, and it's a lot. I'm downplaying a little bit, but we have a lot of kids harming themselves, planning to harm themselves even now. They just don't think they have resources out there, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're not church. Maybe they don't have a pastor. Maybe they don't have a youth pastor. Maybe they don't have a chaplain at their school. I think most schools have chaplains now, right? Do all
student
public
government
schools have chaplains?
in student government? One of the students will represent the school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think you got to look also from our side. There's got to be some things that we got to pay attention. So that somebody had said that in the comments. Well, how do you do that? Well, I think there's warning signs, right? I mean,
Right.
they start to withdraw and just kind of go off by themselves and never want to be around anybody else. And they always seem sad, or they always seem angry, or what about people? You just pay attention. They could lose interest in something that they used to love more than anything. That could be a warning sign. It's not always, but it could be a warning sign. And if somebody talks about hopelessness a lot, I don't feel worth or valued. Nobody sees me, and those types of things. Those are the issues that teenagers deal with. This guy doesn't love me anymore. They deal with that, and they go, well, he was the love of my life, and then they start looking for a way out. Or really, what they do first of all is look for help, but nobody's looking. Nobody's watching them. Everybody's watching their own self. Everybody's paying attention to their social, to their own life. And so we've got to be mindful of other people. So these guys are right in the comments about paying attention. If one of the number one signs is isolation. If somebody that used to be around you all the time and want to be with you, yes, maybe life has changed and circumstances changed, but find out, and if that's okay, if you're not good for them and they're not good for you, then be okay with that isolation. But just make sure that they're okay. There's a lot of things that you can do with these people that struggle, and I'm one of these people. But we're talking about students. Pay attention. If you're a parent, if one of my boys brought home a kid and he said, and I saw this boy all the time and used to, I'd coach him, and he was on the baseball field and happy all the time, and when he was here or something, he was sad, I would say, hey son, talk to him. He looks sad. Be a part of your kid's life. That is huge. And if you look at social media, you see so many people our age so self-absorbed, and they're taking pictures of themselves. They're posting constantly online, and I wonder, do they have any time to invest in other people? Because, man, when you
Right.
post 50, 60 times a day, you're not paying attention to somebody else. You're literally just looking through this eye of fake reality. Get out there and interact with somebody. Somebody very close to you could be ready to walk off a bridge, and I don't mean that lightly. Pay attention to other people, and I think that's the danger that we go into all the time, is just because we as people are not interested in anybody else anymore, for the most part.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to make this perfectly clear. Um, just because you have your kids in a private Christian school
Sure.
does not mean they're not going through the same issues, or not mean they're not having the same struggles.
Right.
Yes, are they getting a chapel? I'm assuming all Christian schools have a chapel or a Bible class weekly, if not daily. That they have, I know they have chaplains in those schools, and other than student chaplains, because sometimes you get elected as a chaplain. It's just a popularity contest, man. It doesn't
Sure.
mean it means
Yeah.
you go to a youth group on Wednesdays. It don't mean you're spiritually strong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Even for pastors and youth pastors,
That's a
if
fact,
I'm being
right?
honest, unfortunately.
Yep.
But we don't know what these kids are coming to school with. You know, their mom and dad are fighting. They're on the verge of a divorce. That they have a sick brother or sister.
Right.
Grandmother's passed away. Job loss is affected. You know, the stress of the family. The kids feel it, and they don't know how to deal with it, and they take it with them. And I know this ain't gonna be a popular show, and it's on me. I asked Jeff if we could have this one. So we'll have a more fun show, but I wanted this to be impactful, and not like somebody else when they use that word, impactful. But I really want people to just have a little bit of awareness. But it's more than just having an awareness. You have to take action. And Jeff, you preach a lot of call to action in your sermons and in your teachings, because that's what God did. We can't stand on the sideline, right?
Right.
This is a participation sport, just like being a parent is supposed to be a participation sport. Being a good friend, that's one thing that makes you a good friend. Hey, you know, we've been friends a long time, and we know when the other one is off a little bit.
Yeah.
And we call it out. Sometimes we call it out. Hey, quit being a douchebag, right? Would you?
Right. Sure.
You know, would you? Sometimes you got to have those relationships. Sorry, I can't say that word.
You did. It's okay. You did say it.
I went Old Testament Baptist. Sorry, but it's serious. And if I'm going through a serious situation, you feel it, I guess.
Yeah.
And same way, you have got to be able to have tough conversations. And kids, you can have those tough conversations with your friends. And don't be afraid if you feel one of your friends are going through an issue and you can see the change, you know, their struggle, there's hopelessness and a regression. It's okay to go to a counselor or teacher on that person's behalf. Hey, would you mind? I just feel like something's not. Would you mind having a conversation? Would you mind checking on so and so? Every teacher I know would be more than happy. Every administrator, every coach, every counselor, every children's minister, youth minister, pastor, worship leader, the lady that sits on the third row with the worn out Bible. Anybody would do that, in my opinion. We just have to pay attention, and then we have to act on it, in my opinion.
I think one thing too is understanding that there's three major lies that I believe that teenagers deal with constantly, and I deal with it. So it's not just teenagers, but I think people that are dealing with depression and the thought of doing something self-harm, doing something to themselves. We all have had these three. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares what I'm going through. We all have. And if you're being honest, and I'm talking about everybody that's watching, you've been there too. But when somebody has depression and somebody has this deep, dark cloud that's hanging over them. When they think nobody cares, they really feel like no one cares. Even their closest friend, they feel like nobody cares. And then the next one is, I'm a burden, right? I'm
Sure.
just a burden on you. And parents, a lot of times you think, well, that's crazy. My kid knows I love them. Let me be clear. I'm a parent of four, and I've raised four kids up through their teenage into young adulthood. And when they make that statement, I just feel like I'm a burden.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
stop everything and you sit down. Don't preach to them. You sit down and say, hey, I'm here. I'll listen to you. You're not a burden to me. And then the next thing is, the next lie is, it'd be better if I wasn't even around. And we all know what that means.
Yeah.
And so when those three lies start to take root in a person's head, it is really, really late in the game. Because
Yes.
when they get to that point of they feel like really no one cares, they've went through the Rolodex of their friendships, their social groups, their schools, their closest friends, or who they thought they were. I mean, they've gone through that Rolodex in their mind, and they can't think of one person that can help them. That's real in their lives. Now, I know a lot of us, we
Yeah.
go, that's crazy. No, that's reality. And people
Sure.
struggle with depression is life. So always be mindful of that. And how can you help? You've got to tell them you have value. You are, and quit being so scared to be vulnerable. Tell somebody that you love why they're valuable to you.
Yeah.
I think
You
that's
know,
hugely important.
a hug, a high five, a God, man, I love you
Yeah.
goes a long way. It really does. I want to talk about Kusa Christian for a second. Hey, good morning, Dan Starnes. Only because this is something I witnessed not too long ago. I was actually, it was during football season. It was there for a morning pep rally that
Right.
Blake Matthews volunteered me to go do.
You
But I'm
got to have
standing
those.
outside this. I'm standing outside the school, the main interest. I'm standing there with a couple teachers and the principal, Julie Delp. Every kid that came in that door
Yeah.
either got a high five, a handshake, a hug, a good morning, a look in your eye. Hey, you look great
Yeah.
today. Are you okay?
That's
She
awesome.
does that every day, or somebody in her staff does that every day. And I'm sure other schools do the same thing.
Yeah.
I just have, this is what I witnessed, and I'm just sitting back, and of course I'm getting some of the people I know, and football players are saying what's up to me as well. But just seeing her interaction with every kid, eye contact. Sometimes it was, hey, tuck your shirt in,
Right.
zip
Sure.
your bag, hey, let's do
Right.
something with your hair. Um, but she loved them. She loved on them. She told them she loved them, and there's no way one child went through that door into Kusha Christian School
Yeah.
without knowing that they're not loved. Because Julie Delp I witnessed it, and I'm sure Westbrook and Etowah, and I'm sure all these other schools,
You should.
and some of the ones we never mentioned gets left out, like a West End, a Sardis, a Glencoe, a Oaks Bluff. There's great people in all these schools, but what I witnessed by Julie Delp, and I even messaged you and said, "Hey, this is what I just saw."
Yeah.
And seeing the smile on these kids' face, and let's face it, for parents, we've seen these kids early in the morning time. They ain't want to talk to nobody,
Right.
you know. It's pretty awesome. And the same thing is these teenagers or these football players walk in the elementary schools, to their classroom or in car line with their jerseys on. They open the door, getting the young kids out. All that stuff is very impactful.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure other people do it as well. Hey, Danny Starnes made an amazing comment. Elderly people deal with the same issue, Jeff. That's talking about a forgotten generation of people.
Yeah.
The seniors, very much like the young adults or the teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times they get to the point they feel like they've lost their value, that they
Right.
can't do the things, that they can't even take care of themselves, a lot of them anymore. I've heard that said by some of our family members. I feel like we're
Right.
burdening you, and that's never the case for us. And I think that's important that seniors do know that. And then there's a lot that don't have anybody, and that's where I think community is huge. You know, these apartment complexes or these neighbors that you see somebody and you notice they're alone, stop by, visit them, take them a cake, just buy them a little small meal. One thing that I love to do is I'll pick uh, somebody, I'll just say that periodically, and I will DoorDash something to their house. I'll just try to remember what they like.
402 Waldrop. Oh, sorry.
Right. But it doesn't say from who or anything like that. You can give things, so they don't know, and they probably don't watch this because they're older anyway. And I think it's important, Danny. I think you're right. And rejection is a huge thing when you feel rejected, like you're not a part of something anymore. Hey, by the way, when people, teenagers especially, but people are betrayed, that will set somebody with depression into a tailspin when they feel betrayed. So keep these things in mind. I mean, in grief, we talked about that not long ago. Somebody, when they lose somebody that's close to them. That sends them into a tailspin. So it's not always some made up thing. Sometimes it's the way these people's minds are wired. My mind is wired that way. And when I have grief, when a person that has depression has grief, it's not just grief, Jerry. It's deep grief. It goes beyond there because you feel like there's a hole and a void and a brokenness that no one can fix. And we often forget. I forget all the time. In Psalm 34, it says God draws near to the brokenhearted. And I forget about that a lot until just right now. Thank God that I remember that. But when you get sick, I struggle with stuff. You struggle with stuff. People that are sick struggle with things. It causes them to go into that dark place. And so you're right, Danny. It's not just teenagers or young adults. It's senior adults. It's all of us. And I have to do my part as a person that wants to help other people to be mindful, but as a person that deals with it and has dealt with it, you have to push yourself. That's important. And it's extremely hard to push yourself to get out of isolation when you don't have anybody that you connect with. So that's why I think it's important to be a friend. Be mindful, get your head out of your phone and look around and see people, because God will show you people that need a friend, and then go be friendly to them. Don't ignore them. Be friendly. The scripture says that. It teaches us to be a friend, and if you want to have a friend, be one. So that's I believe. I believe without question. There's this cardinal that keeps flying in the window upstairs, and it's just sitting on the ledge, and that's so cool and it's gorgeous. Anyway,
don't let Will sit.
I keep following. He won't shoot those, but I feel like healing begins. And this will sound cliche-ish, but I believe healing begins when you start to be honest, or where honesty begins. If you truly want to be healed, you got to be, as Jerry says, vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable, and that to me is the hardest thing. But if you are that friend, allow your friends to be vulnerable. Allow your family to be vulnerable. Don't judge them. Don't hate on them. Don't tell them that that's silly and that's crazy and that's just so dumb or stupid. There are people you can't say that to. You and I can say that to each other because we're built that way. That's what snaps us out of things sometimes. Is, hey, don't be so stupid, Jeff. But you got to read the room. You know what I mean? Read the room.
And we're wrapping this up. Again, this was never meant to be a long episode, but I want to leave with this. I'll close with this. And Jeff, thank you for taking us down this path. It was just on me right now. But even in the middle of your anxiety, pressure, struggle, this promise still stands. God is with you. And I'll look to Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed. I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And there's many more verses. That's not, that's just not a hidden one. Many more verses, but hey, you're not alone. People love you. You matter. And it's okay to seek help. Help is out there.
Yep, there it is.
That's all I got.
If you need somebody, reach out. reach out. Don't be shy.
KAPOW